Yo, welcome back to Just a Nominee TV, man. This is the School of Martians podcast, the only podcast that's out of this world. I'm your host, Just a Nominee, a.k.a. Juice, a.k.a. Martian Mathers. And I'm joined here today with my great co-host, Bogart.
Yo, what is good in the hood? We're here for another episode. This is a late one.
This is a late one. It's a little late.
Told the old lady I'll be home late.
I think we're feeling too great, and it's too late.
Yeah. So, But
it's late great.
late great.
But yeah, welcome back to the show, guys. Thank you for all the support on the previous episodes. It means a lot to me. I see the like button getting smashed, comments getting a little up there. People are commenting a little bit now, so I appreciate that. Please do that if you haven't on this podcast. Like, comment, subscribe, helps us out. So yeah, all that. Today we got a guest on the show. You might have seen this guy before and you just never knew it. If you watch like Domino Masters on ABC.
It was on Fox.
It was on Fox, yeah.
It was on Fox. Fuck ABC. No, I'm just kidding. You might have seen this guy before, though. If you were flicking through your channels one afternoon, one night, and you started to watch Domino Masters, you could have caught him and his team on the show. He's also a skier. He's also a good buddy of mine. We make music together also. This is my good buddy, man, VanVleck.
What it do, baby?
Hey, what's going on?
Thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir, dog.
Yeah, man.
Joining the other ski legend here, Evan Bogart. I'm not the ski legend myself. I'm not claiming to be by any means.
But you're a great skier on top of
I like
everything.
to ski. I like to ski.
You guys both ski, so this is gonna be interesting because I'm just gonna be chilling over here today, soaking this shit up. To be honest, because I don't know much about skiing. I'm gonna be 1,000%. I know about like skating and stuff like that. When it comes to snow, I don't know. So yeah, I'm just gonna be chilling here. We're gonna talk to Matt. These guys are gonna go back and forth about skiing. It's gonna be great. Before you guys get into your thing right here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have a question for both of you to kick it off.
Okay.
Right? So, what makes you want to ski? Like, because I know hold on. It's kind of a two-parter. I know there's people, they only ski. They don't do anything else in the summer or the spring when you could, like, skateboard or, like, rollerblade or BMX or whatever. They don't do another extreme sport. They just ski, right? I know you, Matt, you blade a little bit of stuff like that, but, like, not often. I feel like you ski more than you skate.
Yeah.
And I know you, Bogart, you were a hefty skier.
Yeah.
That's all you really did was ski. You didn't really do any other extreme sports, even when it was warm, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, I did, like, BMX riding.
Yeah.
I did that just to stay in shape for ski season.
Yeah.
But, mostly the summers were just working. Working the full summer so you can afford shit in the winter. And so, yeah, I bust my ass doing, I was working with my dad for a while, moving furniture and shit. And, just making as much dough as you can. So in the wintertime, you don't have to do shit. You just
So that right there shows me that skiing has such an impact on you that you would be like, I got to work all summer for winter.
Yeah. Because,
That's dope.
all my friends
That's
that
dope.
I grew up with, they
like that.
skied and shit.
Yeah.
And, we had this bond. Like, it was almost like a brotherhood when we skied and shit. And, and we hung out like almost every day in the summertime. We were just going, we were high school kids.
Yeah.
And, we would get snow from the ice rink and build like setups and shit like that in the summer. And, because the ice rink snow, right? They shave it and shit so it's smooth. They dump that shit in the parking lot. Mm-hmm. So we would pack a fucking, like a truck, and we would just set up PVC pipes or rails or some shit. And
that's sick.
Yeah, have like a little drop-in setup and,
yeah. Yeah.
Put a tarp in your back of your truck and
Yeah.
haul it up. We did that too in high school, and that was so much fun.
That's
yeah.
sick, dude. Because it just shows like you guys are going like way out of your way to make this happen.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like you want to ski that bad that we're gonna pack snow in a truck and move it somewhere and set it up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you put it in those
yeah.
terms, like that's crazy. Like that's passion. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like that's some. So I see clips all the time, like in my reels and shit. Like you know, guys going up to like handrails and like grinding them and stuff.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even really look like most of the spots that they're skiing on those rails. There's like not much snow. Almost like they said what you guys did. Like they just brought a little snow and they packed a little on the sidewalk there on the edge, and they can land.
Yeah.
Like they have like a run up and then a landing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see that a lot, and I'm like, where they're skiing looks like it's warm.
Yeah.
Not like warm, but it doesn't look that cold. Like if there's snow all over the place.
Yeah.
So now it's making sense when you guys are talking about like hauling snow and having to go make a spot.
Yeah.
That's dope. See, I don't know what's going on, so
Yeah.
these are the questions I'm gonna be asking.
Yeah. So, like, way back in the day, they actually did, the ice rink shit in San Francisco. They had a huge fucking jump, and they had a competition there in San Francisco where it never fucking snows. But yeah, I mean, there was a couple times in the summertime, we would go to like colleges and shit because they would have huge rails, like huge.
What's your favorite college to ski?
Alfred
Alfred.
State, Alfred University. That's the rail garden of New York. If you go there, there's rails everywhere. If you drive, like we spent like I think 2 days filming in Alfred, in the handrails up there and shit.
Wow.
But yeah, it's crazy. There's park skiing and urban skiing. I was more into the park skiing. I did urban back in the day. But
So it's like urban, like street skiing.
yeah. So it's just like skiing on the streets, basically.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I love that because you didn't have to pay for shit.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay for a lift ticket. You don't have to pay for anything. You just fucking drive up and you get going.
You got to pay for the hospital bills.
Yeah,
so.
well, that too.
You gotta
but,
pay for the hospital and the gas money.
Yeah.
But back then, gas was cheap, so we weren't thinking about gas money back then.
I haven't even tried urban yet, honestly. I've definitely been working on it to get to that level, but around here we don't get snow, or like you're gonna have to literally go to the rink, haul in the truck with a tarp, and have a group of people with a rope, or what is it, bungee cord, or like so much
slingshot thing.
the bungee banshees,
whatever they're called. Yeah.
So when you're at Bristol skiing, so there's like a street section. Do you hit that up, or are you just like slopes hitting the big ramps?
So it's terrain park is what they technically call it.
Okay.
And
I'm not sure, so this is
I'd consider myself a park rat mainly. I'm usually working on rail tricks, new tricks that I'm like trying to acquire, especially while I'm young. Cause I'm about to be turning 30 this year, and that's going to be a big wake up call. And I'm just trying to ski as long as I can.
Wait, what month?
July 8th.
Oh, so you got a minute still.
I got a
at
little
least.
bit,
You got a
but-
little bit.
I feel like I'm in my 20s, like young, early 20s still.
Yeah.
So we'll
Dude,
see.
same. And I don't like, it's wild that like I have 3 kids and I look like I do. You know what I mean? Like I look like I shouldn't have 3 kids. You know
Good
what I mean?
genes, milk.
You know?
The baby face syndrome.
It's-
That's what it is.
It's
you
just
know?
wild, man. Like, like I tell people all the time, like, man, my son's almost as old as you. And they're like, how old is your son? I'm like, 15. They're like, you don't have there's no way you have a 15-year-old son. I'm like, I do.
Bro, you're barely lucky to pass 15 yourself.
I know.
No.
Nah, but it's cool. It's weird. It's weird. Like
Yeah.
looking young. But
My dad's like 82, doesn't even look it. So
Really?
Yeah.
82?
Yeah. Born in
Oh.
19, or he's going to be turning 82, like in the 23rd or 24th?
Holy
oh, so you were born late.
Yeah.
You were the oops.
I wouldn't say I was the oops,
No,
but,
I mean, but
you know.
but they had you really
Yeah,
later
they had me
on,
later.
right?
He was in his like 50s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
Holy shit.
You know what though? I've been seeing that more commonly in today's world, like people having kids at an older age. I don't know, but
It's kind of, I think it's more of like a maturity thing. You know, like you see these younger people having kids and shit, and you could tell they're not ready for being a parent, but like now, like they're waiting for an older age to where they're more mature and more,
their life's put together.
Yeah,
already.
and they have like a better job and shit,
Yeah.
you know. And but yeah,
Finances. That's what
Yeah.
I would say.
That's the thing, and like I'm making it work. You know what I mean? I got everything I need. I'm not hurting. You know, but it's fun. It's fun. So yeah, so you usually ski at Bristol Mountain, right?
Yeah.
In New York. This is for people watching that aren't from New York, just checking out a ski podcast.
have you ever skied up in like Vermont and like all East Coast further east?
Yeah. So just last season was my first time out there. I went to Stratton.
Okay.
And I went to Mount Snow, and then I went to. I haven't been to Whiteface yet. That's on my books for this coming January.
Okay.
I'm going with some of my high school buddies who I ran cross country with, and we're gonna go ski a little bit there. But they're looking more to hike and do some, back trail kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm looking to go find some parks and some new jumps and features to hit because
Yeah.
Bristol gets old after you hit it season after season.
Yeah.
Well, they don't really
I can see
change their setup. Like
Not
they
at all.
they don't change it. So when I skied, when I first started, I started with the ski boards. I started doing those, and I got third in the New York State X Games back in the day. It was I started on the small skis, and then I kind of expand to the bigger skis.
Yeah.
I remember, I think it was one of my first runs, I fucking went off. So when they blow snow, right, it gathers up, and I launched off one and didn't even think about it and landed in kind of like powderish, but I felt something crack in my knee, and I'm like, oh, fuck. And so I couldn't even walk on it. So I remember just like one foot is dragging and the other foot's like just guiding me to the parking lot. And so I went to the emergency room, found out it was growth plate in my knee. I fucked up that.
Sheesh.
And that ended my season. And it was one of the first seasons I, had the big skis, and it was, and it sucked because I missed that whole year.
Was
skiing
it
with
early
was
in the
that
season?
Yeah, it was very early. It was, it was like the first month that Bristol was open.
Wow.
And I fucking ruined everything.
And what age was that around?
God, it had to be like 15, 16.
Wow.
15, 16
That's
years
like
old.
the crucial years too.
Yep. And, all my buddies got to go out and ski and shit, and I'm fucking playing Xbox in my bedroom, fucking pissed off but it comes with the sport.
Yeah.
It comes with the sport, you get injured, right? And you reflect on what you could do better to improve yourself. So the next time you do that trick, you won't hurt yourself as bad.
Yeah.
So you kind of learn from your injuries, which is, the way I take it.
So on that note, what are the injuries that you acquired through the sport? Because like early on, that's crazy. I wouldn't say I got into it like competitively and like heavily until after college because my parents didn't really want me to because I was a competitive cross country and track athlete.
Okay.
So they didn't want me to get injured. Fair, valid. So once I was able to, have my own income and be able to sustain it by myself, I was, doing that all the time.
Yeah.
So that's when I started accumulating some injuries. So like broke ribs, broke my shoulder one season, broke ribs multiple times in one season as well. And then that's really, like knees sprains obviously come with it.
Yeah.
Just, like
Shin
minor
splints
stuff.
and shit.
Yeah.
It's so after the knee injury, I think it was a couple winters later, I went to Holiday Valley and competed and at a like rail jam thing, and I fell on my wrist and broke my wrist, and then what does it take, like 6 to 8 weeks before a bone heals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're young.
So right when because I broke it right in the beginning of the ski season, my left wrist, and I remember it was closing. It was one of the closing days at Bristol when I had all healed up from the broken wrist. We were disastering onto this like flat rail, and I fucking fell and broke my metacarpal in my hand.
Ooh.
And like fucked up my wrist.
Oh.
And I was like, oh fuck, I just got my cast off. I did physical therapy and shit, and now I got a fucking broken another one. My parents were pissed.
Yeah, that would not add up. And for those who don't know, a disaster is like if you have a kinked rail, if for instance like a flat down rail, you skip the down and the flat part and you just go all the way to the down part.
Yep.
Or if you had a flat down, you skip the flat part and go
basically,
all the way to the down part.
basically
It's like
in
you're doing a gap to rail.
Yeah.
It's like a gap to rail.
It's full commit. You have a ton of speed. If you
fuck up, you fuck up.
Yeah,
So,
you bite it.
yeah.
So that's a trick that a lot of skiers give a ton of respect to. So
yeah.
So let me cut into this cool conversation right now. I actually snowboarded at Bristol for like 2 years.
Did you?
When I was younger, yeah, I was in ski club.
Okay.
And
starts.
I only started, though, because the girl that I liked was in ski club.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember we were talking on AOL, and she's like, you should join ski club so you could see me more. And I was like, I had to think about it, like, what is ski club? Like, what do you do? Like,
Yeah.
I thought it was like everybody put on cross-country skis from gym class and they go out back of the school or something. Like, for real. I'm like, I guess I like this girl. I guess I'm going to go join the ski club. And then they're like, oh, yeah, you have to get your parents to sign this because we don't know if you're going to get hurt or whatever. I'm like, yeah, hurt? Where the hell are we going? And they're like, oh, we're going to Bristol Mountain. And I'm like, oh, shit, we're like snowboarding and skiing? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. And then like, it made me like the girl that much. Like, this girl's badass, dude. Like, I like her, and she's in ski club, and she snowboards. And yeah, dude,
Check.
yeah. So like, I actually did go to Bristol for 2 years, but it was like 8th and 9th grade.
Oh,
So it was like
okay.
8th grade and then my freshman year. And then after that, I didn't really do it anymore or whatever, but I liked it. Like, I was fairly good at it. People in ski club are like, man, you caught on to that pretty good. You're like doing 360s and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but like small ones. I'm not like,
Well, so now you're an inline skater, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should pick up like fucking skiing because
Yeah.
it's just like it's kind of the same concept.
yeah. I mean,
But,
I was
it's a little
snowboarding.
different.
I was snowboarding, but I could also skateboard too.
Yeah. Okay.
So like once I got on like the snowboard, I was like, doing little shifties and stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this is sick.
Yeah.
But like I've never skied before. Like, you guys are talking about skiing, and I'm just envisioning it, and like the clips that I've seen on reels and shit, people grinding rails. It's like, that's crazy. Because I would always be so like. Here's my thing. Tell me how this works. When you're in the air, right, and your feet are like crossing or you're flipping, do you ever like bang skis and get them tangled up or whatever?
I mean, yeah.
That's how I feel like I would be.
You can, but that's only if you're doing like what's it called? Like a screaming
seaman, where you cross your skis in midair, like you
Yeah,
take
yeah.
your front ski and then cross it over and then cross it back in the middle of there.
Or lately, these kids have been not crossing it back and landing with their legs crossed, and it's just absolutely insane.
Like landing in like a Unity in
Yeah,
my
yeah,
world.
yeah.
In my
It's
world,
like
a Unity.
everyone who comments on those threads is like, "Oh, knees broken." Like knees have left the chat. Like I could not.
Knees have left the chat.
Yeah, I would try that maybe if I was 15. But
My
like,
knees left the chat a couple years ago.
that's the one thing I have a question for you. Are you envious? I guess not envious, but like kids nowadays, they can see videos of other kids their age and the tricks that they're able to perform, so they like kind of know what's possible out there, almost in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Like we had less video footage film, or like you had to actually have like a camcorder or like a pretty big investment. But like now you just need a cell phone, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
So when back in the day, we scrounged money to buy cameras and shit, and we took turns filming. One person would go grind the rail and then switch, and then the other person would hold it, and then everyone would have a turn hitting that rail and getting filmed at the same time. So I mean, just back in the day, it was mini DVs. I think it was what it was called. It was like almost like a SD card, but it was kind of had. I don't know how to explain it. It was like a disc, but it would burn the video onto the disc.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so it was a very old school, and and then when we started hanging out with Will Wesson, he had the top of the line shit, and we started filming shit like that with high quality films.
Insane skier, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
he's got this. He does a Tell a Friend tour, him and Andy.
Yep.
So they come to Bristol, once a year, try to ski with them. It's so cool. And I'm just trying to see where my skill level's at, like throwing tricks that either they're doing or like wouldn't think of doing, because a lot of skiing's freestyle art, right? Like just being creative with it. So like sometimes they'll comment on it and it's like, yes, But Will Weston is just like top of the top. Andy Perry's up there as far as just like being very creative and doing some insanely crazy stuff. Like,
he's a very talented skier, and he's a smart kid too. He went to Victor School, and he was a top athlete. He played soccer and shit.
oh yeah,
So he's got the footwork.
Yeah, he had the footwork and everything, and and then Andy Perry, he was a ski boarder. He started off as a ski boarder, and then actually, I think Will Weston started off as a ski boarder too.
Interesting.
They both did for line skis, and and so they hung out, and then right when they got out of high school, they packed their van, their Subaru, and they started line traveling circus, which
wow.
It's brilliant business move on their end. They started making edits before and uploading them to YouTube and stuff like that before any skier started uploading on YouTube.
Right.
He was one of the original OGs. Will and Andy were one of the original OGs to uploading shit on YouTube. So, I mean, I give it to them,
And then you were Will's neighbor too, right?
No, so I was Met the Dolly's neighbor.
I'm sorry.
I was Met the Dolly's neighbor. He lived on the bottom of the hill on 64 going to Bristol. I lived on a dirt road right above him. And usually, sometimes when it was really snowy out, I would just ski down to his house. And then we would just fucking hit rails, We would watch a lot of ski movies. Back in the day, there was a company called Poor Boys Production. Okay. First ski movie they came out with is Propaganda. If you look up Propaganda on YouTube, you could probably find a trailer or something for it. But it was we thought that was so cool. These skiers getting paid to fucking make movies and shit. Yeah. We're like, holy fuck, this is awesome. Yeah, we just watched all the ski movies that came out, and we studied the ski films. We kind of were like, hey man, we watched them do a trick, and we're like, oh, we'll go out to the trampoline and do it. And we went out to the trampoline, and we fucking would do the trick, and we would land it, and then like in the wintertime we would try it in the snow. So I mean, we had a great group of friends, great support system, it was good. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I don't do much of the crazy shit anymore because, I'm fucking, 36? I'm going to be 37 here pretty soon. But I still ski once in a while, just do a couple laps, I don't ski Bristol Mountain anymore because I hate that. I hate Dan Fullard, and I don't care if I'm going to say it. He's focusing on the racing aspect at Bristol more than the freestyle skiing. And I think that's horrible. We had 4 pro skiers come out of Bristol the same year, the same year I was skiing. There was 4. There was actually a fifth one, Tim Russell. Tim Russell was he was a pro skier. He was in older level 1 production movies, but he was from Canandaigua. And yeah, man.
Damn.
Yeah, honestly, on that note, they made this new water jump, right, for their jump team or aerial team or, for whatever their ski designation is. And I have some beef with that because I want to use that to practice learning double flips and stuff safely, or the younger kids we had a kid who was 12 years old who it's his second year skiing ever, Canandaigua Skate Park legends, Jed Kenny. He plays top 10 nationals from Bristol, local guy. Like,
damn,
the talent is so, like, it is there at Bristol, and if they put their focus towards that, like, we would have people maybe in the Olympics. Like, we had Lillis place for a gold medal, but you could have that maybe even tenfold here.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much love and will for all these kids to get better. Like, I don't understand why they're focused, but it's got to be money driven, you know?
Oh yeah. Well, so what they do is that they I don't know what association is a part of the I don't know what's called aerials.
Yeah,
I don't
mogul team, I think it is.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it's all money drived. They get sponsors from different people that come in and shit, and they focus on that because that's where the money is. You get some kid that wants to learn aerials and shit. They pay, I don't know, $600, $700 for the season, and they get a group of kids doing it. It's just money. It's all money.
It's got to be a liability issue too. Like, I'm willing to pay money to go do that, but they're like, well, I'm willing to sign my life away to do that. Like, what?
Yeah. So
give me the chance.
Yeah, but I kind of Bristol Mountain. I avoid. I did go last year when Amet came, but I stay away from Bristol. I don't, the business practice they have and shit like that, don't like it.
We might have rode together that day.
Yeah, we might have. Yeah, I think because Zach from Full Send and his crew were there, and I skied with him for a little bit. I was at that rail jam I think it was a day before or a couple of days before up in the city.
At NHP?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I haven't been there yet, which honestly I have to go. That's the place to be because it's a tow rope. Like, imagine how cheap it'd be to put a tow rope park for rails in Bristol. It's always their lowest priority to get the park going. Yeah. However, I will say, first day of opening, riding through Main Loop, took a look at the small park, and they were just blasting snow on it and had tons of mounds. So it looks like they're trying to progress and open it because we've been harassing them on Facebook and social media to make sure that they don't forget about us park skiers because there's a lot of us, especially as pass holders. Like, it's bull.
So I'll tell you a crazy story back in the day. So they didn't, like, this was back in, oh God, I think it was like 2001, 2002. We used to give them shit all the time. We would go in the offices and like a bunch of kids would go in there and be like, hey, fucking build some jumps in the park and shit and like build rails. And we would have a group of kids. And I remember one time it was like a mob of people outside the office. And we had cameras and we were filming all this shit. And it's just because it's a liability thing because you have some snot-nosed kid that was fucking rich or some shit, breaks his arm on a jump, and then his parents are like, oh, well, fuck, I'm going to sue the living shit out of Bristol. So that's what their mindset is that always some kid's parents are going to sue.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
They had some deaths recently.
Oh, shit. I didn't know about this.
So there was one viral video online for, do you know that they have this national ski jump competition there every year? So they have this giant ski jump landing that's like 45-degree angle, maybe 100, 120 feet total gap. This kid comes bombing down the main park hill, and just tries to gap as far down as possible. He goes top to bottom and like absolutely shatters himself. And the guy yells, Jackson! And like, it went off on, I was like, wait, is that Bristol? And sure enough, in the comments, like everyone else was like, yeah, that's Bristol. And then people died by like crashing into trees and stuff too.
Oh yeah.
But
man. So Sonny and Cher, like the old actors or whatever, the guy from Sonny and Cher fucking ran into a tree.
Wow.
He was throwing a football while skiing and fucking just hit a tree and fucking died.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What a way to go.
Yeah. I mean, it's
just proof you can't do two sports at once.
Well, there's a really good ski juggler that's like a park skier who also juggles. So you can like juggle, do a backflip, and then catch and keep juggling.
Oh man,
the guy's probably the best skier I've ever seen in my entire life. Like,
what's his name?
That's the shit I like.
Actually, don't know. I think he just called himself like Juggle Skier on Instagram.
That's the shit I like. I watched this one kid on YouTube, juggling Josh Horton, and he's like a basketball dude though. Like, he does like trick shots and stuff, but he can he's got a shitload of world records for juggling. Like, if you look this kid up, Josh Horton, and he does crazy shit. Like, he's like balancing on shit, juggling shit. he'll be fucking like juggling, fucking like bull. I don't know. It's just crazy, but that'd be sick to see on skis.
Yeah.
Because those guys impress me. I can't even juggle like 2 balls. Like I have trouble just like going like this with like, like trying to catch 2 of them. And then when someone's like, no, you got to do it with 3. I'm like, there's no way I can barely do it with 2.
And then you
see these people and they're just.
He's throwing
They're
it like
doing, like-
downhill, like going 50 miles an hour, and it's
That's
like
sick.
throwing it like 100 feet, just like, oh, how do you time that? That's insane.
Sick, dude. That's talent right there. What I also want to touch up on is like I heard you say a little while ago you had a good support system.
Yeah.
I just want to enlighten that right now to the viewers is having a good support system matters in every move you make in life.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I have a good support system, and he's sitting over there right now on this podcast, This podcast wouldn't exist if it wasn't for this guy right here. And we bounce ideas back and forth. We trust each other. We come to the drawing board together. We make decisions. We, like he'll have a new tactic for a new video or like how to put it out or whatever. And it works every time. Or I'll have an idea of how to do something and I'll pitch it to him. We'll do it and it works. And you got to have somebody that's riding the same skis as you.
Yeah.
We'll say for this one.
So,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, when I grew up with Amet and Garida Dolly, every summer we would just push each other on the trampoline. We would just fucking double bounce each other into the sky and fucking just do flips and shit. And, it was just, it was almost like a brother bond. Like, I grew up with them, I was almost like a member of their family. And, I miss it to this day. I do. But, it's good to have memories when you're young so you can tell them about them in the future. So,
yeah.
And that's like the whole part of it is like making memories with people that matter. You know what I mean? Like you could be in the same group of people and you're the only one progressing, but you're making memories with people that you shouldn't be making memories with.
Yeah.
So always remember that too. I'm just here to spit some actual stuff that I usually spit on the podcast for a second, but just good support. Like, so I can say too, like when I was inlining, we were all brothers. Like it was like, we're skating at so-and-so's house today. The skate sessions at so-and-so's house today. We all had boxes and rails and we were spending at each other's houses. We were filming, we were putting videos together. We were watching skate videos. We're playing skate video games. Like, and it's more than what it ends up being when you get older because you look back and you're like, yo, those were my boys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you look back on it, like you think of all the people you've hung out with throughout all the years in your life. You look back at those skating years or skiing years and shit, and you're like, those were my boys. Those are my brothers forever because the shit that we did and how enthusiastic we were through all the shit that we wanted to do.
Yeah.
So it's cool to hear, when I heard him say that, I'm like, dude, I had like the same bond with my people. And actually one of my buddies passed away in our group. Talented kid, dude. Rest in peace, Matt Noble, my brother. Talented kid, dude. He could BMX, skateboard, scooter, inline, anything. The kid was just, you give him something with wheels, he'll be the best at it in like a week.
yeah.
So
I mean, like,
rest in peace, my boy.
yeah. So it was almost like for a while, it was like every weekend it would be just like we would go either out of state or like into a local ski area and just like we would rip shit up and and it was fun. It was just there was no stress. There was absolutely no stress. You're free on the mountain. You could do whatever the hell you want and like no one could tell you what to do. And I always said this before, extreme sports, there is no coach. Well, I mean, there is coaches, but it's kind of like whatever. But there is no coach telling you what to do. You have to progress yourself.
Yeah.
And
your coach can't do it for you either,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
So, So, I mean, that's why I love extreme sports because it's up to you to push yourself to do, the shit.
Absolutely. But it's also, creating a kind of, a community or like a culture like around it to like help push you.
Facts.
Like you had,
Facts.
everybody I met, you guys are double bouncing each other, pushing each other. I had my friends from high school, like, you know, I remember like Travis Miller, like Kareem, like Robbie Amager, like Sebastian, and then we had like the snowboarders, like John and his brother Sam, or Sam and his brother John, and like those are my boys, you know. I always aspired to be as good as those guys because I was held back from like my parents and everything. But now I'm older, I have a job, I have income. I've kind of like recreated that because I've missed it so much. So I just like hike up, post up at on a weekday, and like kids are just like, hey, like, you know, you mind helping me learn something? Or like I'll, you know, give unsolicited advice sometimes. But like, when somebody else learns a new trick, even if you already know that, it just gets you hyped, and then you're like, I want to learn a new trick now. Yeah. And it's just like everyone feeds off of that. So it's just that energy. It's so sick. And I've been trying to create that at Bristol, which has been nice, but I wish they would share the love.
You know, and the other thing too is that, like, you know, it's Bristol Mountain. You know, you got Canandaigua, Victor, you got all the surrounding towns and shit, and they all come to the mountain and ski together.
Yep.
So you meet kids and shit, and they're like, oh, you know, that was fucking sick. So you start making friends with them. That's what I loved about it. I had so many friends back when I skied at Bristol. I had so many, because you would run into kids from another town, or you know, or you hung out with the other night. It was just, I don't know. It was wild. It was a fun time. You know, I miss it to this day, but you know, when you get older and you got responsibilities and bills and shit, it's kind of hard to maintain, because skiing is expensive. It's an expensive sport, like
super expensive.
So like a pair of skis, like average, like I don't know, like $600-700.
Yeah,
$600-700
with bindings, and then you got boots on top of that, right? Like,
and gear, goggles, helmet, shit like that, right?
So it's expensive.
Pads,
tickets.
Do you guys wear pads or no?
No,
no pads, just a helmet and goggles.
Helmet, goggles, snow
I didn't
pants.
even wear a fucking helmet.
I wear it. My mom thanks me for it. And
I would wear a helmet. So
I'm trying to push helmets are cool now, you know?
Yeah. Well, see,
helmets are, dude, I wear my helmet.
You got to protect the head, though. I've hit my head so many times. Like, as good of a skier as you are, there are still those conditions where all of a sudden it becomes icy.
Yeah.
And you just slip out, and like you didn't know that ahead of time because of the snow conditions or temperature changes, or like, and you're just hiking the same rail over and over again. That one time, though, that could be fatal. So that's why I'm just like, protect yourself, wear a helmet.
When we were kids, like, we did not wear helmets. We thought it was like dorkish.
Yeah, no.
Like we did not wear. So if you watch old footage of you know, skiers back in the day when they did urban, no helmets. Like, that was, I don't say people frowned upon it, but they were just thought, it's like, we don't need it. But I can understand now, you know, there's a lot can happen.
Yeah,
like,
the sport's like elevated.
So
like,
I mean, like, you see like skiers like fucking, you know, doing flips on rails and shit.
Yeah.
You know, one false move, you can, you know, paralyze yourself.
So they're still going hats and trying to look really steezy and cool for the edits, though.
Yeah. I mean, that's park skiing mostly.
Yeah.
I mean, you see me at the skate park when I come and skate, like, I wear a helmet.
Yeah, I'm wearing pads, dude. Concrete hurts.
Dude, I wear a helmet and knee pads when I come to skate, because I always bang my knees up, and I always skate in shorts. Like, I don't ever put jeans on if I don't have to. So I always wear knee pads, and I always have my helmet on, and people are always like, dude, you're wearing a helmet? I'm like, yeah, because I'm not as good as I used to be. Like, I'm older now, and I'm afraid to get hurt. So, like, I know that little fear in me is going to take part in what I'm doing on the rail, because, like, I'm going to jump up and do my P-Star 360 out. You already know.
Right.
But then at one of those times, I keep nailing it like 3 times in a row. I'm like, yeah, that's my trick. And then that 4th time, I spin out, fall over, crack my elbow, go on my back, and it's like, I'm glad I had my helmet on, or I'm glad I had knee pads on. So I used to hate pads, helmets, all that stuff. Like, I was like, oh, you're a door. Oh, he's got his helmet on. Look at him. And
I was the same way.
But now I'm like, yo, dude, you're crazy for not skating with a helmet. Like,
that's real world responsibilities growing up.
That's just like the adult in me. And it sounds like your guys' Bristol family that you guys built was kind of like my Spinners family, because I grew up skating at Spinners.
I remember Spinners. Cool.
And we met kids from, you know, all different towns, went to skate there because there was nothing else like that, except in Rochester, like Scuff Skates and Extremes and all that. But we didn't live close to that, so we went to Spinners a lot because it was only 15 minutes up the road. And I formed like good friendships with guys from like Victor and like Pal Mac and like Webster and just some other skaters that I met that we ended up making videos with in the street. Like we would go film like street videos and like we'd tell them like, I mean, this is like AOL days.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, we're shooting a street edit on Saturday. Just get dropped off in town somewhere and we'll meet you and you can just skate with us. And like we started making skate videos with people that were from, like different towns. And it's just cool that, because we thought like, dude, we don't know anybody else that, that skates in our town besides us. So like we're the only ones. And then you go to these other fucking places and it brings people together. You're like, wow, there's a lot of dope other people. I want to skate with like, let's make a video. So we just made videos and videos with all sorts of people just from, hanging out, shooting the shit at the skate park.
Yeah.
100%.
And it sounds like you guys have the same thing going on at the snow park.
Yeah. So like back in the day, we had a website called Newschoolers.
Yep.
And now Newschoolers so when I first started with Newschoolers, it was just starting. Like they were just like funding it and like, it was just really underground. And that's where we met other local New York skiers and stuff like that. And then we just joined forces and started making films. The first film was, it was just I Hate New York. It's for skiing. We did that, and then we did Bogart after that. Yeah, the skiers that we skied with that were in this movie all became pro. So they like, I think it was like
OG level names.
So, you got, Will West and Andy Perry, Ahmet Dadali, Garai Dadali. You got Eric Olson. You ever heard of him?
No.
Or Eric Olson, he was a good pipe skier back in the day. He was, he won medals at the not the U.S. Open, but Vermont Open.
Oh wow.
Vermont Open. And
that's sick.
Yeah.
That's
so
insane.
I mean, and then who other skiers? Well, I mentioned Tim Russell before. He won a couple of things out west and stuff like that, and he's a family man now, so he doesn't really ski much anymore. But I mean, LJ Strano. LJ Strano. We met that kid up in Vermont through Newschoolers.
Oh, really?
So we talked all through Newschoolers, and we were like, hey man, we're gonna come up for that competition up there. Are you gonna be up there? We'll film you and shit. And then it just went from there.
Yeah, he was part of level 1, and then he was on their Telefriend tour as well.
Yeah, he was a line ski. But
That's
he's
sweet.
retired now. But
Yeah, he just retired a year or two ago.
yeah, he retired. He now works for NASA or something.
So I'm gonna do like a little like Q&A for both of you guys right now to just shoot your answers out.
All right.
So I'm gonna ask a question. I want to hear both your answers to them.
Can I tell one quick story real quick?
Do your thing, bro.
Probably
do your thing.
my best ski story, which is like maybe one of my favorite lifetime stories, honestly.
I would rather do that than what
I was riding on a ski lift, talking to my buddies who I met at Bristol, and just talking about Xbox gamer tag, and like my gamer tag's VLECK, part of my last name.
Vleck.
And this guy's like, yo, by chance, what's your last name? I'm like, VanVleck. He's like, no shit, my last name's VanVleck, VLACK.
Oh, shit.
I was like, what? I was like, yeah, now you're going to tell me your first name's Matt. And he's like, it is. I was like, what? I was like, get the hell out of here. So this guy's like my name twin, and he also skis park, and he's like older than I am, and we were skiing that day, and like we've been like best buddies since.
Wow,
But
there you go.
VanVleck and VanVleck.
yeah, and
That's
we went
cool.
into like ski comps together. We drop one after another and confuse the people who were commenting. It was just so fun.
That's cool.
He's
as
got a
shit.
kid now. He named him Henrik after Henrik Harlow.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's like
Nice.
raising that kid to be a little ski legend.
Dude,
so.
that's amazing.
Wow.
Shout out Matt VanVleck.
Dude.
Also, shout out Scott Del Forte Foundation. So they're doing the Park Jam at Bristol every year,
Yep.
and they're the ones who organize it, and they raise money to allow kids who can't afford ski club to do ski club, which
Gotcha.
is super cool.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
So
Yeah, because I remember when I told my mom I was joining ski club, she's like, how much does it cost? And I told her, and she was like, nah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
definitely a privileged sport,
Yeah.
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 financially speaking.
Yeah.
And when me, Matt, and all those guys grew up, we weren't rich. We weren't like wealthy.
Right.
Like we had to work for our shit. Like we had to and then I remember I think it was like one of the first seasons he got sponsored by Dynastar. And he skied for them forever. He skied on Dynastar, and then Ninth Word came around. The funny story about that. So Ninth Word is a ski company. It was made by this guy that grew up in New Orleans. He lived on a street called Ninth Word in New Orleans. And this guy didn't really know anything about skiing, like at the ski industry, nothing. I don't even know how this guy got into the ski industry, to tell you the truth. But Ahmet got sponsored by him. He actually got paid by Ninth Word. But the first time he went out west, though, to meet the owner of Ninth Word, the guy shot his foot with a gun because they were just always committing crimes, the ski company. Like,
oh wow,
they were just like, they were rambunctious. They were like, committing crimes. They were selling drugs just to maintain the ski company and shit. And then, it was just a wild story. He flew into California to meet him, and the guy couldn't pick him up from the airport because he shot himself in the foot.
He's like, I've got a medical emergency.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to cancel.
Yeah, so it was a sketchy ski company back in the day. Sketchy, very sketchy. And then he became a vocal skier. So, but
brings don't shoot yourself in the foot to a whole new meaning, huh?
Yeah, I mean that ski company.
Cheddar bobbed himself.
Yeah,
Cheddar bobbed.
Yeah,
Baba Doc had one.
But yeah, so but in Ninth Word, right? They had the badass skiers like Mikhail Deshnik, I think, was on Ninth Word before he retired and made music and shit. But yeah, I mean, it's just like all these badass skiers that were bad attitude skiers, as I call them. Like they party, they stay up late, they break the law and shit. They were sponsored by Ninth Word, and yeah, it was
Rebels.
Everyone wanted Ninth Word skis though because of the reputation they had.
Interesting.
So it was fun. I personally never skied on Ninth Word skis, but I knew a lot of people that did. So, but
damn,
yeah.
Well, I got a couple of questions for you guys, and I want you guys to go back and forth on them.
Yeah.
Remind me or remind them. I'll remind them. I don't know anything about skiing or and I don't claim to, but I got a few questions for you guys. So what's your guys' favorite style of skiing?
So I'd say nowadays it's gotten crazy ridiculous with the amount of spins and flips. I really like the older school where it was very innovative and new, where doubles were the first thing, and slower, steezier, more after bang style, and it was bigger, baggier clothes, and just
tall tees.
Yeah, the tall tee gang, tall tee Dan, all that kind of stuff. Nowadays, it's just kind of tighter clothes and just triple quadras and all that kind of stuff. It's getting out of my reach at my age for sure, but I like to throw some steezy stuff if I can. Usually fall, but
yeah. So I can relate to him. The older generation had more style. I think had more steez, more just in the air. It looked more natural than what these kids are doing today, flipping until
until they touch the ground.
Yeah, they're just flipping, and it's cool, but at the same time, there's no style. There's no swag to it. It's just you're hucking your body off a jump. It's okay, well, it's more aerialist.
Yeah.
Which, it's cool. I mean, it's cool, but I'm more into the more urban skiing. Just like steez back in the day. It was more style than it is today. Everyone has their different take on skiing and stuff like that. They some people like the newer style better than the older style, but I prefer the older style, better. So
I will say kids on rails these days have gotten absolutely nutty.
Yeah.
They're Tom Wallish on steroids now. Like my top 2 skiers back in the day were always like Tom Wallish, like Simon Dumont, and like obviously the GOAT Henrik Harlow.
Yeah.
So Henrik Harlow is like my favorite style all time. Still going to this day. Like,
yeah, that what I like about him is that he didn't change when
Yeah.
everything changed. Like
Nose butters,
Yeah,
like-
he stayed on his own style throughout his whole ski career. He didn't really adapt to a different style. He stayed, steezy. I don't know.
yeah, no, seriously.
Who's your favorite skier?
Mine? Okay,
Yeah.
so the OG back in the day was this guy named Dave Crichton. Dave Crichton was the man. He was doing tricks, right? That we watched on ski films and shit, and we're like, holy fuck, that was crazy. But he was the best East Coast skier at the time. I got to ski with him a couple times, and he was the best. New school skiing, today skiing. Keegan something, I can't remember his last name. Fuck, I gotta look it up.
Keegan Kilbride?
Yeah, yep, Keegan. Yep, I think his style of skiing, he adapts to bigger features. And I think that's the most coolest thing. You don't see a lot of, and it's more urban too. It's not like park shit. It's all urban, which I love. He rides for K2 Skis, and man, he's the man. I've loved watching his edits every year. And yeah, he's my favorite.
I really like as current skiers right now. So this kind of goes against what I said earlier. But this kid I've been watching since he was like 15 on Instagram. His name's Jackson Carstetter. He's probably like the rail king of swaps and just control of everything. He's from, a small hill that you just hike rails and there's not big jumps or anything. And he's still throwing like doubles off of small jumps and like 6 swaps with like a 6 out and like just insane stuff. Like a 3 swap casually in there and like he's competing in rail jams and making a name for himself. So he's
How old is this kid?
He's probably like 18 or 19 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, good for him.
Yeah.
Is he sponsored?
I think he is. Yeah, he's starting his own brand and everything as well.
Yeah, I mean the younger generation, right? They had video games. They have video games now like Steep. They watch the shit that they play on these video games and then react it on the mountain, which back in the day we didn't have that shit.
Yeah.
We had a stupid game. I can't remember what the hell it was called.
We had SSX Tricky.
Was that?
We had SSX Tricky.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And there was a ski version of it too.
Yeah, there was Gibberish.
Gibberish made one?
It was an old school. Someone designed it on Newschoolers, and it was like literally, it's It's
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a very old. I think it was called Gibberish, it was that's the clothing brand right there. Yeah, the Gibberish. Now Gibberish was a clothing brand back. They started way back in the day, and yeah, we rocked that shit back in the day too, and we actually, it was funny, we had all these ski brands that came out of the East Coast, like East Coast Headwear. It was like a old, they made like beanies and shit, and I still have one to this day, I remember Ambush. There was another company called Ambush, and there was it was like a street ski apparel company. It had Liam Downey and a couple other pro skiers on that. And I thought that was so cool. So I started my own shit in high school called Nuke Apparel.
That's cool.
Yeah, I started that. I learned how to silk screen and everything. But once I got older, I forgot that shit, and I didn't really stick with it. It was like kind of like a hobby in high school.
Right.
Your friend would be like, "Oh man, you make the sick, ski shit," and then you sell a couple T-shirts here and there. But yeah, man, I mean, yeah, there's a skiing, community is like probably one of the best communities I think in any sport. There, you look at football and shit, and you have these $1 million contracts that, and then it gets messy with lawyers and shit. Skiing, there really isn't. You don't really hear, that there's drama with ski companies. Like you don't ever hear that shit. It's always ski companies treat their skiers good and shit. So.
Or with pro skiers having beef or anything like that. It's usually like them learning from each other and like
that's dope.
Riding with each other during comps. Like you don't hear of them. Oh, screw this guy. It's usually like, yeah, let's go ski.
Yeah.
It's
let's see what you got.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a friendly community coming together, to ski. All kinds of stuff like urban, park, powder.
But if you're out there in the cold, though, you've got to love what you're doing, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, also have good equipment, but that's kind of weeds out the people who aren't enjoying it.
What's like your best trick and like your go-to trick?
For rails or jumps?
Whatever.
I like rails more just because it has more of an urban, you can kind of translate to both. And it's always been my dream to make a sweet urban video, and I just like haven't had the group to do it. I mean, timing-wise, as far.
Yeah.
I'd say rail-wise, best trick. My go-to trick is definitely like a Brittany, which is like a back switch up. So you jump on the rail regular, you turn your back like blind. So most people don't like to do it because it's like scarier.
Yeah.
And then you continuously rotate after you land on the rail and do like a 270 out. So that's like my go-to trick, which I can do that pretty.
You nailed it down.
Yeah.
So mine was we didn't have all the crazy like spinning on rails and shit like that. We didn't really, but my go-to trick was a blindside 270 out of a rail. I always mastered that. I spent hours one day just like hiking a rail and just eating shit most of the time, but I got it after a while. But I love doing that. I also like buttering onto stuff.
Oh yeah.
Buttering is fun.
That's the steeziest looking stuff too, and it takes a lot of skill.
So what does buttering mean?
So think of like, okay, the phrase comes from buttering toast almost, right? So like if you're buttering toast and you don't have the knife in a position where it's like gonna spread it evenly,
right?
It might dig into it, and then you're gonna like catch an edge, right? And it's gonna kind of screw up the nice perfect toast.
Gotcha.
So it's the same concept with skis and snow. So like your ski tips, you want to like push down on, or your ski tails, and like butter onto the rail like with the jump, and it just looks so cool because it's also a lot riskier because you can catch an edge and face slam into the rail like. It's one of the coolest tricks you can do, in my opinion. Yeah, I'd say as far as like cool tricks I can do on jumps, I don't usually have big jumps to work with because I'm just skiing after work and stuff, and really have to get out west and out east on bigger mountains. But front flip, back flip, and then I'm really good at spinning, particularly to the left.
Oh, so I know.
I can do like a 1080. I can do like with a safety grab or like a 900. But I got to work on getting like good spins with like legitimate nice grabs. Like I can do 3 with a mute, with blunt, with all that type of stuff, but like anything more than like a 5, I don't got that because it's just the jump size that we have. In order to get like the rotation and the grab like really well, it's so hard to do.
What do you think about so back in the day, Simon Dumont used to do truck drivers in the park? What do you think about that?
I love truck drivers. Like that's one of my favorite tricks to see is if you're doing like a ginormous jump, do a huge truck driver and like just like a slow 180 or a slow 360 or even just like going straight air or zero spin, which is where you go switch and you don't rotate at all and then you land switch. It's probably one of the scariest tricks you can do because like
it's scarier than doing like a switch 3 or something like that because you can look over your shoulder like this, but like the landing and shit, it's a jeopardy because your body, you're landing forward usually, but you're landing backwards now.
Yeah.
So
the other thing with zero spin too is like Think about it when you're in the air. If you have nothing to do for like 2 seconds and you're just like thinking about it more, it's like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
If you're like doing something in the air, it just feels a lot more natural.
Yeah.
So if you're going zero spin, you're like, oh, kind of do like the wobbles every once in a while.
Bicycle hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wheel them down.
Yeah.
Wheel them up.
What's your favorite brand of skis?
Currently, I like J Skis, which actually Jason Levithal is the one who makes them, and they've got custom designs on them from artists that they're, they only make a certain number of them. So
That's cool.
It's pretty cool.
I like shit like that.
He used to make line skis before line skis was bought out and made mainstream and like factory produced and everything. So he actually custom makes them instead of just putting them through a machine.
Yeah. It's J Skis is more like an artistic ski company.
Yeah.
I like that.
They work with artists and shit. But so I grew up skiing on line skis. My very first pair was Mike Nick Pros. Mike Nick was a pro skier back in the day. He was an East Coast. He was actually from Albany, New York.
Oh, really?
He had his own signature model. And then like after that, I skied for a while online, and then I skied for a while on K2, and then Liberty skis, and then I think I went back to line. Yeah. So
I rode Liberties before I switched to J Skis actually.
Yeah.
I like them.
there was Hollow. There was a rep for Liberty skis that basically gave our whole crew free skis.
That's sick.
So like we were skiing on Liberties, but back then Liberty skis sucked. They were built shitty. It was just really shitty skis. But then, but they were free skiers. Like, some dude's giving you free skis. We're going to fucking rock with it. So
use them on Urban or something.
Yeah. So, I mean, skis, you just got to find the right one you like. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I just got a pair of fatty pusses at Full Send too from Canandaigua.
Shout out Zach.
Yeah, Zach Hallett. Shout out
Full Send.
And I can't wait to try those out. New brand. They've got a different camber. They got a wider set base on your foot, so they're a little more playful. Probably more of a powder ski, but I can't wait to try those out.
Yeah, there was
How much did those run you?
I got them like 50% off on a nice sale from Full Send, honestly. So not as much as you'd think.
That's dope.
Because 50% off skis, that's insane.
Yeah, that's really good.
End of the season, that's when you buy them. I always buy them out so that I have them ready to go. Because if you buy them when winter comes, you're buying them full retail. So buy them end of the season.
So is there when like the winter gets closer, is it like harder to obtain like ski materials? Or is it not? Or is it just easier to buy it in spring because it's on sale? Or
yeah, it's just easier.
It's not necessarily harder. I'd say it's just more expensive usually.
So there's a lot. So like the ski places are stocked up with a bunch of skis when winter comes, right?
Yeah.
So you're good. You can go to the shop and be like, I want those.
Yeah.
And like they usually have what you want to buy.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's a good shop. It's a good shop.
Yeah. So like usually, they have the year ski. So it's like the model. Mm-hmm. For the year, and then usually what happens is that model that year at the end of the year will have a sale to get rid of the stock, and then basically every year there'll be a new model that you can buy. But yeah,
just like a car.
It's just a car.
You push new models, so
it's like everything
go down in price. Yeah,
it's
so
like
I always just go model late or so. 2 years back.
Yeah,
and then just keep upgrading.
So I was gonna ask you guys who your favorite skiers were, but you guys already said that. And I was gonna ask you guys what injuries you guys have gotten, but you guys both said what injuries you guys have gotten so far. So, what's like the dedication that it takes to be a skier? Like, say I wanted to ski. Say I was like, hey guys, after this podcast, I want to start skiing. Like I'm interested now.
Yeah.
What's some pointers or like some like stuff that you would tell me if I want to get deep into this, like what I gotta have to dive full force into this? Not as like gear wise, but like what do I have to do to like prepare myself like mentally to go into skiing?
So, if you want answers I got a good answer. So for me,
I want both answers.
For me, it was really easy because skiing is edge work.
Yeah.
Like so much edge work, and I came from playing hockey growing up, so like I had insane edge work from just skating from the age of 5. So
that's why you're good on rollerblades.
Exactly.
That explains it. Because
yeah,
when he said earlier he could spin, you should see this dude on rollerblades.
Yeah.
He spins so good. It makes me mad because like I've always been like, like I got the 540 in the bag, you know what I mean? And then like I watch you like on like the mini ramp like at the skate park. I'm like, dude, you just do that so easily. Like for me, like I'm like, maybe I'm not gonna throw that today because I'm gonna eat it. But like you just have like even when you skate backwards, I could tell. Like I didn't know that you were a skier when I first met you. You know what I mean? But like when we were skating, I'm like, this dude has like style. Like your inline style is crazy. Like the way that you like approach going like backwards, like fakie, and the way you spin into fakie. Like I was like, that's not normal. Like you have like a different. Like I could tell right off the bat that like you had like a different.
Appreciate that.
You know that you did something else besides rollerblade. Because I was like, dude, why is he so good at just being fakie?
Yeah,
and like spinning
skates
fakie
is like second nature for me. It's like walking, you know.
I could tell like. And that day we met was crazy. It was just out of the blue. You're the only fucking blader at the skate park besides me. And I was like, I was supposed to meet CeeLo there, and he called me. I'm like, where are you? He's like, I'll be there in 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, dude, there's another rollerblader here. And he's like, he thought I was joking. He's like, shut up. Yeah. Because there's no one ever there besides.
That was Matt Chilson or something.
Yeah. So I'm like, nah. And like, I'm sitting in the car. I'm like, he looks like he's good because you were doing shit. And I'm like, just get here. And like I think he thought I was joking.
Yeah.
You know, like
I remember that day.
You know, to make him like come, you know, faster because he lives right up the street, and I'm sitting there waiting for him, and I'm like, yeah, there's another fucking rollerblader here. Come down here. Like it was like you knew I was like playing with him kind of to get him down there. But then like when he got there, I'm like, yo, this is Matt. And Matt's nice. Like it was just so crazy how that whole day went. It was through COVID. We were all skating because it was COVID, nothing to do. We all had fresh blades.
Yeah, we all bought them just because of COVID and wanted to get outside.
Yeah,
I remember after he told me Chris and him were brothers, and I'm like, that's funny.
Yeah, he didn't.
I didn't believe him. It literally took me like 2, 3, maybe like a couple months even to like fully believe him. Like and like show me like pictures of the family and everything, and I'm like, wait, you guys are actually brothers? I thought you were fucking kidding.
No, it's funny, dude. It's funny because like even with the music, we'd go places and rap, and like you know we'd tell people that we're brothers and like, oh, so you guys are close and shit. That's cool. I'm like, nah. Like we're actually brothers, like
blood,
like same mom, same dad, grew up in the same house, like fucking shared the same bedroom. Yeah. Like we're brothers. And people are like, what? Like they didn't believe. Like it's hard to prove to people because we don't look anything alike.
Yeah, you don't look that similar.
And they always think he's the older brother. Like they think I'm the younger brother. And I'm
gotta
like,
be the beard though. That's what it is.
I'm like,
right now.
I'm like, thank you. But yeah, so anyways, but like I could tell when I first met you though that like you had some other kind of sport in you because I'm like, this dude is just like spinning like it's no big deal. Like I could tell you had like some other, you know, like extreme sport in you.
Yeah.
And then when I found out you skied, I'm like, that's the sport I'm seeing. I don't know it, but like that makes sense why he can ride the rails like he does, or the way that he like approaches the rail, or like the way you like go down vert and the way you spin and land. I'm like, yeah, it made total sense.
It takes a certain type of person too. It's like the mental capacity.
Yeah.
You have to be kind of like an adrenaline junkie. Like you have to kind of live for fear and danger.
For sure.
Like that's how I've been ever since I was a kid. Like riding a 2-wheeler bike when I was 2 and like climbing over the sofa, jumping from thing to thing.
Oh yeah.
Like that's just how I've been ever since I was a kid. So
yeah.
The mentality aspect is like, if you're not typically a person to, you know, go on a battle, like if you're learning a new trick on a skateboard, learning a kickflip, it just takes going again and again and again and again until you get it, and then you know, do it twice to make it right, or you know, keep doing it until you get it right.
It's
that's
working
really what
for progression.
Yeah,
So
some people have really good, you know, natural talent from other stuff that they've done, and they learn it quicker. But ultimately, hard work's going to beat talent when talent doesn't work hard is the big quote. So
hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Yeah.
And
that's
how about you, Evan?
What advice would you give me jumping into the sport of skiing?
To tell you the honest truth, like kids think they need the top end gear every season. Just buy a pair of crappy skis. Just learn shit on those before you.
You got
upgrade.
an extra set I could borrow?
I got a couple.
Let's go to Bristol.
Yeah, let's go.
Bring me to Bristol.
We'll go to Hollow, not Bristol.
I want to try.
Yo, I want to go to Hollow. Let's do it.
Like, I want to just try to ski one
Dude,
time.
you would be so good at it.
I want to try to ski one time because
just gotta
I
get
feel like, all right, let's go to the park after like 2-3 runs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd be like, I want to hit a jump now. I want to try a rail.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, you would.
That's the crazy thing. I would. Like, once I feel comfortable doing something, I'm like, all right, let's go over there.
I've been trying to get your brother to go too because he'd be nice
good.
with it.
Dude, he had the rollerblades with the fucking skis on him. Yeah, dude. CeeLo had the he had the rollerblades with skis on them. Like, they actually have skis on the blades. So, or wait, was it skates that have?
I thought it was ski blades, no?
Yeah, it might be
blades.
ski boards or ski blades.
It
Yeah.
was ski blades. But then I thought maybe did he have? Wait, he had something where he could take the frames off and put, or no, he had ice skates.
Oh,
He had like ice skate frames that fit his razors.
interesting.
So you could take off your frames and put ice skates on your rollerblades. But then he did have ski blades because he made a video at Ononda. He like hiked all the way fucking up to the top of the trail at Ononda and he ski bladed down. And I was like, I'd be down with that. That would be fun. But I want to try real skis.
Yeah.
Like,
you
I
have
feel
more
like
surface area to work
I
with.
feel like you guys are like bringing me into like a whole new like, thing in my life right
You
now.
also butter with, real skis opposed to ski blades.
Yeah.
If you know how to pizza, you will know how to ski.
All right. Well,
You could
We'll
slow
take it.
down
That'd be
with the
sick.
pizza.
Yep.
Remember South Park, that episode? If you're gonna, I don't remember what it is. I'll play a clip here, but
Okay, we're gonna do this without any pulls until we know our 2 primary feet positions. To go slow, we wedge our skis together in the shape of a slice of pizza. Then to go faster, we put them parallel like French fries. You see that? Pizza, French fries. Pizza, French fries.
yeah, it basically what it is you pizza if you want to slow down. You put your 2 skis forward if you want to go faster.
It's something like, remember, if you French fry when you're supposed to pizza, you're gonna have a bad time. Or something like that.
Yeah. So I was, but what I think you should do, Matt, to tell you the honest truth, is create a Facebook page and rent ski lessons.
Interesting.
Just rent ski lessons, and,
Interesting,
and
he
people will fucking, respond to that because I haven't seen that at all. Like ski lessons or anything like that.
Privately.
Yeah, private ski lessons, and then you fucking you be like, hey, I'll meet you at the mountain at something, blah 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 blah, and then you just teach them how to
the parking
ski.
lot, teach kids or anything. I love doing
If
that
you-
too. That's like something that gives me so much fulfillment and joy. Is just like teaching somebody. It brings joy to your life because they're either experiencing something for the first time, or like if you're teaching them a new trick, they're learning and experiencing something for a new time. So that brings them so much joy. So then you feel that from them, and then it inspires you to learn new tricks as well.
Yeah,
if you start a page,
That's a great idea, though.
and you do private lessons, I'll be the first one in your DMs
because they were
waiting
charge.
waiting to do a lesson. All right, bro. Well, I mean,
Friends discount.
I'm
One
gonna have to-
time only. Sorry,
I'm gonna
guys.
have to pay something in here because I'm gonna be borrowing Bogart's skis. I'm gonna be getting lessons from you. Bogart's gonna show me how to film and make a pro video, and then I'm just gonna go viral.
yeah.
Well,
Well, I mean,
like the worst skier ever, and I'm just gonna do like little like Healy tricks, but on skis.
We'll do 0 to hero at it.
0 to hero. Let's
0
go.
to hero. That was a good one.
Let's go. 0 to hero.
But yeah, I remember back in the day, people would do that though. They would do private lessons and stuff like that, and people were making a
That's a
fucking
good idea.
killing.
Yeah.
Like they would do that all winter long was private lessons, and then they wouldn't have to work in the summer. It was wild. I was thinking about doing it for a while, but then I was like,
You'd be a good ski instructor, Bogart. I feel like you'd be a good ski instructor.
I've teached so many people how to ski over the years. It's ridiculous. Like I don't know how it is. Like I don't know how I do it, but they after a couple runs they'll go by themselves. So
Yeah.
Honestly, though, the one thing that would scare me about that is like the liability aspect if they get hurt or anything.
You're on Bristol Mountain property.
Yeah, that's true.
Not your responsibility anymore, man.
That's true.
They signed a waiver.
They signed away. Yeah, you would
Signed
basically
a
what
waiver.
happens is they would meet them at the parking lot. You'd be like, hey, you guys sign this. Make sure I don't fuck you up. And then you just teach them.
So I'm kind of going to take this a different direction for a second. When I started like skating and all that stuff, it was like an expression, is like something like it kind of helped like my mental health. You know what I mean? Like I've always dealt with like mental health and stuff. Is that like a big, like, do you deal with like mental illnesses that like skiing kind of throws off those things, makes you forget about things, makes you better when you're done?
Oh,
like,
100%.
You know, whether it be like anxiety or like anything like that, or like depression, shit like that.
I've got generalized anxiety disorder and like depression and ADHD. So like I'm always a person who wants to go out and do things and like you know, very active and so when I'm on the mountain though, plug in some music and you just forget about everything. You're just out there just like
What's in your AirPods when you're flying?
rap for sure. Usually
like who though? Like
I love J. Cole. J. Cole's my guy.
J. Cole's your dude.
I like old school though too. So like Henrik inspired, you know.
Yeah.
Rasta music.
Yeah,
Kinda like a Rasta.
Yeah, but also like 2000s rap too, like, you know,
Get low.
Kanye's in there, Drake's in there, like there's so much. Mac Miller's in there, like obviously.
So you're bumping.
Kendrick, I'm bumping.
So you're bumping while you're flying. That's cool.
I think that like rap music is kind of freestyle skiing because like there is like skiers that like rock and all that, but majority of them I think like hip hop. To tell you the truth, what do you think, Matt?
I think it's probably like 90% of the skiers. I mean, especially in the edits and everything, which I've almost kind of tried to create more of a niche and put alt rock and different types of music in edits just for like, just to be a little different. But rap is what I'm listening to like 99% of the time. Yeah.
So I like to listen to ski soundtracks, like level 1 ski soundtracks, you know, Poor Boy's old soundtracks and shit like that. But yeah, it's just like, I think it's like, like you said, it's like 90% of skiers like rap music. It's not like mainstream rap music. It's more like the underground or people that aren't really recognized. That's what I think. But
yeah, I do listen to a lot of the mainstream stuff though. I'm not gonna lie. Also, Wu-Tang is for the children. So.
Oh yeah.
Shaolin Island. So back to like the mental health stuff, right? Like I deal with anxiety, like I have my whole life ever since I can remember at least. And I get like a seasonal depression. I feel like as I'm older I've gotten it just because like I'm happy most of the time, but then like I look at my life at the end of the day, not that it's a bad life, but just like, you know, like who I am as a person and like what direction I'm going, what I want to do for the rest of my life. What's the future for me? What's the future for my kids? Like, am I building something to leave for them behind, or like, am I teaching them the right things to go, you know, to grow up and see what was right and how things are done? You know, just like things like that, like bother me. You know what I mean? And I think about it a lot. And it's mental illness is. You know, people joke about mental illness a lot. Like, oh, you have anxiety? Like, yo, just take a Xanax. And that's not really how that works.
That's just putting a Band-Aid on a problem.
Yeah, because, like, I've been on Xanax. I've been on all that kind of shit. And honestly, I think I was better off of it. You know what I mean? And I feel like when you can fight anxiety, depression, ADHD, OCD. I'm very OCD. I have, like, this... I'm not diagnosed OCD, but I have this crazy like OCD thing where like if like stuff around me isn't in the right spot or like at home, just, you know, whatever. Like I feel like skating or, you know, for you guys like skiing is like an escape from that for like however long you're on that mountain, you know, from when you lace up, jump on the ski lift and get up there or whatever.
So
you're in a different world. Like you're just away from all the stuff that your mind deals with, you know? And that's like the best thing for people with mental illness to do is a lot of people with mental illness don't have an escape from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And having an escape from mental illness is like the best thing you can have, because you don't need to be on all these pills and take all these things to necessarily get rid of it or think you're better or whatever. I mean, whatever. It works for people, some it doesn't.
So
but
I look at it this way. Like anxiety and all that shit usually happens when you're not doing something. Like you're just like, if you're like on the couch or some shit, just watching TV and you get anxiety and shit, it's because you're not doing anything. If you, that falls in what Matt said about the ADHD or whatever. If you're active and you have your mind going and doing things, that's when that anxiety and all that goes away, because you're doing something. Skiing and whatnot, you're hanging with your friends and shit, you kind of leave that anxiety out at the parking lot, basically.
Yeah.
You're just fucking, you're chilling with your friends, all that, all the problems that you had before you skied go away. So
yeah. And on that note, so there's a psychological phenomenon of like, how when you get older, time seems to move a lot quicker.
yeah,
And it's because you're not experiencing as many new things, right? So if you're experiencing new things, you're actually more likely to live longer. So it's just constantly chasing new experiences. And in skiing, you're constantly doing that, specifically for like chasing new tricks or like, working hard, going to new mountains and like taking new paths or new trails and like meeting new people. Like there's so much more to experience. And like, you have to forget everything when you're doing park skiing specifically, or like urban especially, because you're like, okay, I have to focus 100% on this trick or this rail or this jump, or else my life's on the line, or like I got to pay this huge hospital bill.
you can get injured really bad. Yeah.
So like you have to focus. So that's the part where you just put in some music, or even if you don't, just like focus. It's just,
And I know, well, me and you have had our talks in the past about, like dealing with this kind of stuff. And that's why I kind of wanted to bring it up, is like, having an escape from your mind is the best thing, I think, because like Bogart was saying, you're sitting on the couch, that's when you get anxiety. And I think anxiety and all that depression and stuff comes from thinking too much.
Yeah.
Like having like too much time to think and like, like analyze things that don't matter anymore. Like from the past, like, oh, what if this happened? Or, oh, that's probably how that, like, just doing all that really fucks with you, and you don't even realize it when you're doing it, because you think you're doing a good thing, like, wow, I'm smart because now I'm figuring everything out that happened to me.
Yeah.
But then in the long run, you're like, why am I even putting my body through an experience I already went through? There was a bad experience that caused me to be this way. Now I'm bringing myself back to, like, you're putting yourself back in that situation, and then that feelings in your body, like, like how you felt at that time.
Yeah.
And it's just not good. And I feel like I like swarm myself with hobbies to escape shit like that. Like when I get home from work, most of the time I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to chill around and sit. But like I'll play Xbox because that consumes my mind.
Yeah.
Or like I'll go in the studio, I'll make a song that consumes my mind. And, I think I'm good at making music personally. Like I feel like when I go like in the studio, it's very easy for me to come up with a song, come up with a hook, come up with a verse. And it makes me feel good because I hear the final product and I'm like, nice. Like I just made a song.
Yeah, you're like, I made this.
Like not many people can do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
it's getting your creative juices out too, which is sick.
People
That's the same thing with freestyles. It's creative. You can
just
seen
expressing
kids,
yourself.
That's the one thing that I like to do is like, one thing I'm a firm believer of is like, no matter who you are, you can learn something from someone. Like if you have that mindset, that'll take you super far. So even if I'm a really talented skier and I've been skiing for 10 years and like personally, I don't even think I'm good, but like I want to keep continuously get better. So other kids will have tricks that are in their bag that I never even thought of or, never did before. And then I'm like, wow, I want to learn that. And you talk to them like, hey, can you teach me this? And then you teach them one of your tricks and it's like a trade. It's like, that's the community part that I love.
Yeah. That's
Ordering
like the connection.
for
That's like the connection that like that sport has. You know what I mean? Same for anything, like even when I'm in the studio with like Street the Villain per se, he'll fucking edit something and I'm like, how'd you do that? Like, how'd you get that to sound, or how did you get that to like level out? Can you show? Because I want to do that when I'm back at home to my stuff. Like, I want to know how you did that. And it's, you know, people are so on edge about like taking advice, or like a lot of people are afraid to admit that they want to learn something new. Yeah. They'll like, you'll show them something and they'll be like, oh yeah, that's cool. But then they'll go home and be like, wow, that was really cool. Like, I want to learn that. But
mindset.
But they won't ever say it to you. They'll just go in their own time and do it, which like, it's better if you make like a connection with somebody like, hey man, like we're both trying to do this. Like, if you show me this, I'll show you this. And then, hey, we'll just do it together. We'll make a clip, you know?
Always stay humble, because you can always learn something. That's
Dude, always stay humble. You know why? You know why I say always stay humble? Because I've seen a lot of people become what they laughed at. I've seen it. I've seen a lot of people become what they laughed at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where my humbleness comes from, is like, I've been through the ringer, trust me, man. So when I see somebody, you know, not doing as well, I'm like, I'm not like, haha, like, you know, he's in this situation. I'm like, man, he's in that situation that sucks. He'll get through it though.
Yeah.
Like, that's my mindset. I'm like, I know that person will get through that, because they have no choice.
Gotta have good support though. That's where it comes back to, you know.
And that's what I was like, you know, kind of going with you guys as support systems, like why you guys like do this. A lot of things that I do are from my mental illnesses. It's like an expression. You feel good. You feel empowered when you're doing these things, and that's really like the drug of it. Is it's not like, it's almost like you don't, all right, you love skiing, right? Like, you love it. Like, it's one of your favorite things, but also you love it because you know you're going to be in your purest form while you're skiing.
Yeah.
Like your mind, body, and soul is in skiing.
Yeah.
And that's what really takes away real life. You're out there, you're doing whatever you want. Like you said, you're just creating stuff up however you can, and you're free. You're a free bird.
You're getting natural high out of it too. The chemicals of the endorphins. Like after opening day of Bristol, skied for, you know, hours, and you end of the day, you're like, oh, I feel so good. Can barely walk.
Natural dopamine.
Yep.
It's all natural dopamine. Like,
that's what bodies need.
Yeah.
So back in the day, like right after I stopped like skiing full time, you know, I came into the depression, like, you know, because I was like, holy shit, what am I going to do with my life? You know, and then I got into benzoids and shit. And, you know, it's, well, like I said before, like I was always on the go, skiing and all that. And then when I decided not to ski much anymore, it just stopped. And then I really didn't know what to do. Like, the anxiety was like, holy shit, I'm an adult now. What the fuck do I do? And, you know, but you learn when you get older to cope with kind of that stuff, and, you know, learn the way to deal with it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I agree. And that's one of the biggest parts about mental illnesses is people won't admit they have a mental illness, but then they won't do anything to take care of the mental illness.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like this thing where like, oh, so-and-so like just went crazy last week. You see it on the news? And it's like, well, that's because they had this going on and they weren't doing anything about it. You know, people, you know, if you're watching this, you're probably an adult, and we need to start calling ourselves out on our own shit.
Yeah.
You gotta, you know, other people can do it all day and you'll be like, yeah, man, whatever. But like, at the end of the day, we gotta account for our own bullshit, and we gotta work past things, whether it takes therapy, you know, whatever that you need to get through the situation, which is fine. I think therapy is great. I went to therapy for a few months and I wish I was still going because it was helping dramatically in my life.
You have therapy in your studio all the time though with your music. That really is therapy in a sense.
See, that's the thing that I tell most people is like when I tell them like my life and like what I've gone through or like, you know, just currently went through within the past couple of years, they're like, a lot of people are like, how are you alive? Like I would have offed myself. I'm like, dude, honestly, music saves my life.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what keeps my mind. And see, when I show one of my buddies a song of mine, like when I just showed you my new track before this podcast started,
Yeah.
I wasn't showing you because like, yo, dude, check out this fucking dope track. I was like, yo, like, I made this because I was going through some shit.
Yeah.
And I want someone else to hear it before I, show it to the world.
You get some dopamine from showing it to people
Yeah.
you care about. Well, that's
Yeah.
sick, dude. I
And-
love that. And it's
So
creative outlet, too.
So me and you have made music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we got that one track that we gotta spice it up a little bit
Yeah, we
and,
still gotta
get it
finish
out
a
there.
lot.
But that's also one of the other things that I think our vibe just automatically attracted to each other is because we both do like different things. You ski, I blade sometimes. And like we are in all these different things, but at the end of the day it comes back to music. Like,
Yeah.
I know you make music, so when I make a new, like, I'm always Snapchatting you new shit that I'm doing or whatever
Yeah.
and shit like that. It's like, it's cool that I met someone like you because not a lot of people are into, like, the skating world.
Yeah.
Plus in, like, the creating music world.
So
'Cause
many things we crossed paths with. It felt like
There's
fate
two-
meeting you guys, honestly, that day.
There's
That was
two
sick.
different worlds. Either you skate or you make music. And me and you are, like, right in the middle, like, of that, what do you call that? With, like, the pie graph with the middle where it's, like, the same. I can't even think. I haven't been in school in a long time.
I don't know.
What's it called?
Well, you're talking about a pie chart, right?
No, it's like if you have like three circles that like all
Yeah.
equal center. I forget.
Yeah.
We used to use those all the time.
I know. I can't remember the name of it.
Comparison chart.
Yeah,
You know what I
something
mean?
like that, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, me and you fall into that category. And once I found that out, I was like, damn, and like I seen you play guitar and so it's like
Comparison
it's
circle.
yeah, it's just cool.
Oh yeah, can I interrupt though? Honestly though, losing someone to suicide is terrible. If you do need help, reach out to the suicide hotline. Like, reach out to a support system. People
That's a fact.
who like genuinely like.
Yeah.
I've lost people. You can
Absolutely.
get better. Like it really can.
Absolutely, and
You can get through the hard times no
and a-
matter what.
don't ever think you're alone
Yeah.
because a single phone call can save your entire life. I've been there.
Same.
It's, thankfully someone picked up on the other line and kind of, talked me into like a different mindset, but a simple phone call can help, even if it's not a hotline or if it's a friend that you need to talk to that you feel comfortable with, just don't ever hide those feelings because we'd rather have you here than not. And that's
Don't
a fact.
give up hope. And
Yeah.
on that note, like I think one thing that we really struggle with is just emotional regulation in general. And I think we do kind of distract ourselves with video games and like a bunch of other stuff. And
Just
we don't
screens.
actually do the work of like working on our emotional regulations. We just
Yeah.
screens are really
Screens
are
are-
really ruining our
Screens,
regulation, in my opinion.
when you really think about it, right? You're at work. I'm sure you look at a computer screen at
Yep.
some point when you're at work.
Or tablet or something if you're in the field.
Yeah, same. You look at your phone for a while. You get out of work. You turn on the TV.
Yeah.
You're on your phone. You're scrolling. You're watching TV while you're scrolling on your phone while you're like waiting for someone to get online to go play a video game.
Yep.
Or then you go to the music studio. You're at another screen. It's like the screen, like you're in your car. There's a screen in your car now. Like it's just like screens everywhere. And people are so immune to having a screen to look at or to like distract them that we can say on the screen all day long, like, yo, I'm emotionally ready for a real relationship.
Yeah.
And then you get into the relationship and you're like, all I know is
Yeah. We're
Is
so
this.
overstimulated that we can't even have like
that's
deep,
what I was trying
deep
to say.
emotions anymore or
Over-
like deep connections.
Overstimulation is killing us spiritually and mentally,
Yeah.
for real. And physically too. I'm sure it's not good for
Yeah,
our
it
eyes
can't
to be
be.
staring at screens all day long.
It can't be good for us psychologically too. Like how many times do you leave a room? On this note, like you probably have ADHD too, but some people do.
Crazy.
Like you
I have
leave
ADHD
a
crazy.
room and you're like, I need to go get a glass of water. You go and you're like, these shoes are out of order. And then you rearrange like all the shoes and then you go back to your room and you're like, shoot, I needed a glass of water.
Yeah,
you go
I
back
gotta
and
get a
do-
drink.
It's just a repetitive cycle and then it's like
Yeah.
6 hours later. So
Yeah.
anyway, same thing with like our screen time. Like we just lose our sense of time. Like you
Yeah.
know, scrolling TikTok and all of that stuff.
Yeah. That's one thing I like about a podcast, I think, is we're not on our phones. We don't have like a screen like telling us like right now what to say or what to do. We're just sitting here, 3 men and 3 mics with some headphones on, talking with no screens.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a screen, but it's not for us to play with per se.
I've been writing down notes of ski videos and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing occasionally when I've been going to my phone. Just
Usually we
for
pull
later to watch out.
Usually we pull up clips like right here, like on the computer and shit like that. But like, it's cool. Like, during a podcast, it's doing these podcasts, Bogart, is probably the like least amount of screen time I get in my whole day.
Yeah.
Whenever we
That's
podcast,
so true. Yeah.
I think that's why I feel so good after them. I'm like, wow, I just had a great time, and I didn't have to use my phone or an electronic to make me feel good about anything.
Yeah.
It's like we just sat here, like had like a therapy session per se.
Seriously, that's exactly what this is too.
And
you got multiple hobbies with therapy sessions.
I wanna enlighten the viewers right now on something. First of all, go cop merch, School of Martians.
Nominee.
20% off to the end of the year. Still, you only got a couple weeks left. Go cop it. 20% off. Use code SCHOOL, SCHOOL.
Yo.
What I also want to tell the viewers right now is, all right, so these guys are skiers. We've gotten deep into the ski game right now. Before we get out of here and before we, get off crazy topic, because we will at some point, I want to tell the viewers your other side of things that you do, right? Yeah. So you were on the TV show Domino Masters.
Yeah.
The one season that it aired.
It was only one season?
Yeah, the one and only.
They didn't do anymore?
Far. They've tried, but they said budget-wise it costs too much.
So you were hanging out with Carmen Electra.
That was a one episode special, and I got like the commercial time for that episode.
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah, that was super cool.
So you're a domino master, we can say, because you've been on the show.
Didn't win though.
Well, yeah.
Spoilers.
But you're a domino master because you were on the show. Like, I feel like you have to be. So to be in anything, like, I would say you guys are master skiers, not because you're the best skiers in the world, but because you ski and you put a lot of effort into it. You're a master of your craft. That's what MC is, master of craft.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I look at you guys as like, you guys are ski MCs because that's you're masters of your crafts. You take it very seriously and you learn. So I'm saying that you're a domino master because you were on the show. The show is called Domino Masters for a reason, right? Yep. Even if you didn't win, but also. You have 2 Guinness World Records.
That's fucking insane.
With dominoes.
So that was,
talk about that. Let's talk about the world records.
Mainly all networking and like meeting awesome people, and like I got the awesome experience from my cousin Michael Fantuzzo. He's the real true domino master in the family. Shout out Michael Fantuzzo.
He is nice. He's nice.
So that's how I got into the show. Is he needed help. He wanted to teach me, and he's been building. At our Christmas events every year since I can even remember. So I've learned tidbits every year, but he's the one who kind of scooped me along and invited me into this niche community. And really that's what it is, similar to the ski community, but like everyone's teaching each other new tricks for the domino scene. And like the coolest thing for me coming into that world where that wasn't my world is like coming from an outside perspective, thinking a little bit outside the box and be like, hey, why don't you just put this trick and this trick together to create this type of, design? They're like, what? It's just something simple, but like never was really thought to do. Yeah. But like, that was kind of what I helped bring to the table. And then I also have a really steady hand and like am quick and have anxiety and ADHD. So if you really focus on it one thing after another, like one slip of the hand, you lose hours of work, dude. Yeah. And it was crazy competitive. Like we had on the show 16 hours of building. And
so now do you build?
I signed a non-disclosure. So I don't know how much I can actually talk about it, but like, let me do some research, I guess. And we'll like get into more details we could do like a domino related episode because I could
Yeah.
talk
I'm
about
down.
this forever.
So, you know what we should do the next time you come down? You should bring some dominoes.
Okay.
And we should set up like a good topple.
Okay, bet.
Just not even
no,
like
we got
anything.
good space for that. We could easily
Yeah.
do something quick.
Yeah, like not
Quick
even
and easy.
anything
I could
crazy.
teach some how to.
That'd be sick. That we could
designs.
learn. We could learn how to make like a
Yeah.
domino.
Oh yeah.
Whatever you call it, a domino build, right? Is that essentially what it's called? Just a domino build.
Yeah, exactly.
We should do that next time. We should do that for sure. Yeah, I just want to bring that up because I know we got so deep in the skiing, but I'm like, dude, the other part, this dude's been on TV. Like
That was so fun.
He's a celebrity sitting over here. We're not even talking. He was standing.
I'm like a F-list celebrity if you want to
was-
get into the specifics.
He was hitting on Carmen Electra on live TV.
That was awesome.
Like, imagine how many people get that chance ever in life to hit on Carmen Electra. When would you ever have a chance to hit on Carmen Electra? This dude had the chance and he took it. He shot his shot.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm
On
sorry.
live TV.
I'm sorry, Carmen. That was awesome. But the other episode got Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy. And that was kind of cool. So like, I was a little jealous.
Damn. So
So-
you could have.
Bill
Like
Nye
that was
Nye
that
the
was
Science
when
Guy.
the teacher, the substitute teacher rolls out like the old school TV, puts in the VHS.
Yeah.
Like that was it. Like you
Yeah.
knew you were freaking living the life in
Yeah.
the days. Like
Dude, that's
Carmen
just-
Electra, I knew briefly, and she was like, voted what most beautiful woman, and then
At some
married
point, she was. Yeah.
Dennis Rodman for like in Vegas for like a year or something.
Something crazy.
She was super nice though, and like really
Yeah.
down to earth. Like
Yeah.
super cool.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of makeup. Sorry, don't hate me, Carmen, but she'll
mean-
never see this. 'Cause
I mean, she's on TV. She's a celebrity. They got to maintain a look. I get it. You know.
I do have one good story about it though. So like, it's reality TV, so it's like you make your own jokes. It's all like sometimes they'll like rephrase what you say because of like how they want to film it and based on like context. So like, for instance, like, hey, we're doing this, but you're like, no, say it like this because we're gonna be putting it in this edit. So like, oh, well, right now I'm doing like just changing what's the word I'm looking for. Grammatically speaking.
Yeah, so you're basically telling what you
Scripts?
were doing, and then like they had to stop for a second and then reshot it.
Change your script. pretty
Change your
much.
script,
Yeah, a
yeah.
little bit, but
You know, like
that was just like
You
very-
just-
like the
you
1%
just say
of the
it.
time, if anything.
yeah. They want you to be like, like it's live right now, like right now, this is what we're doing and blah, blah, blah kind of thing. Or like they just wanted you to be like, so right now.
Well, it's just like you're just talking and you just mess up grammatically a little bit and they correct you minorly. Like,
Yeah.
that was like, but our team, they didn't have to do that much. And like,
Yeah.
we were really on top of it. But I was really quick witted and, was like, oh, I'm glad you got my text, my DM from Instagram. Like, you're wearing our color. 'Cause she was wearing a color that matched our stage set for what our team was. And
Yeah.
I was just like bullshitting and just like figured she'd pick up
The
on it.
backbreakers, baby.
Yeah, I was like, yes, you're representing the backbreakers. Like, I'm so glad you got my DM and like you're representing us. Like, that worked out. And she's like, what? You DM'd me? I'm like, no. Like, that didn't make the cut, obviously.
Yeah.
But like,
So-
it's just like, wow.
So I remember when the second episode aired. Were you on 2 episodes?
I was on a couple, yeah.
So-
Not gonna disclose. I think it was 3 total.
So I remember watching the first one through like a YouTube clip, and then I was like, dude, when does this come out? And then like you like sent a group text out like, hey, the new episode's airing, blah blah blah. Dude, I sat my whole family down.
Yeah. I remember I
Like-
came down one of the days it was airing. It was in this exact
Oh
for
yeah,
the first time. It was
Yes,
in this booth.
the first time, dude.
Yeah.
I have the picture. We'll put it right here. I have the picture from you sitting in here. Actually, I saved in my phone still.
Yeah.
And that's in the background. The
Yep.
nominate. You're sitting on the counter, and we came down here and we chilled before you went on air or whatever. Or
I met your uncle and your dad. I think,
Yep.
too.
Oh yeah. They came in here. I forgot. Yep. Yeah. We were hanging out. Yeah, dude. Like I remember, I sat my whole family down, and we watched it. I mean, this was when my family was together, at least, and like Brendan thought it was the coolest thing because he knows you from the skate park, you know, and like
Brendan's the man.
he just knows you as like, you know, like that's my dad's friend.
I've got
you know,
gotten into Pokemon cards a lot since
dude.
then, too.
Pokemon cards are like my downfall. Like, it's hard to go in a store that you know has Pokemon cards, and then you go to fucking check out, and they're right there.
Good luck finding Surgeon Sparks. I bought them all.
Oh, did you get a VMAX yet, Pikachu?
No.
I wish
I've
I got
opened
one,
probably
so-
like 80 plus packs, and I have like more waiting for Christmas.
Yeah.
Saving
So,
myself a little Christmas tree present.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure. That's the joy in that is like it's hard to like I have a lot of sealed product like from like years ago.
Yeah. Oh, you do? Are you
Yeah.
gonna sell that?
So like a couple of my packs that I have sealed, I have like 5 Evolution booster packs sealed.
Wow.
And I have the whole set. Like I have like the Charizard pack, the Venusaur pack, the Blastoise pack, and the Raichu pack.
Wow.
Like I have 5 packs. I think I have either two Venusaur packs or 2 Raichus, but I have 5 packs that I kept sealed this whole time. Not even to know, like I went and looked up the price of these packs. They're going for like $100 a pack right
Jeez.
now. And
Wow.
and but there's going to be a crazy increase soon where these packs will be worth even more in a couple more years.
Yeah, if you sit
And
on them.
I got-
Unless they reprint.
Dude, I have cards from the Pikachu's Vacation movie and from Mewtwo's the Mewtwo Strikes Back movie.
So you have a pretty nutty collection then.
And I have all the Burger King cards
Wow.
from back then. I have the gold Charizard.
Wow.
Still like the gold.
Probably
fucking
have
thing.
thousands of dollars worth of cards.
Dude, it's insane. Like if I brought you in, or I think I showed you our Pokemon setup. I'm in Brendan's room, haven't I before or whatever?
I think pictures or videos. I haven't been there
Yeah,
personally.
we got all graded cards and a bunch of other stuff too. But like my son is gonna be able to like buy me a house someday. Like I'm not even joking. This dude has like all the Charizards, everything you can think of. He's got
Yeah.
it. And the crazy thing, this kid has the best luck.
Oh yeah, I don't
Right?
doubt that.
This is the craziest thing. Like I'll buy packs and I'll be like, you open them.
Yeah,
Because,
here you go.
and like
Boop, hit,
and
boop,
like he'll
hit.
open them and I'm like, what the fuck? So here's a crazy story. I'll make it quick too. We were at Destiny Mall. What packs had just came out? Whatever the Charizard V-Star was in. I can't remember. I don't know if it was Brilliant Stars maybe.
Okay.
I think it was Brilliant Stars. We were up at Destiny Mall. They had just came out that Friday, and this was a Saturday afternoon. Went to the mall. It was a sick card store at Destiny Mall. We went in there. There's like 100 kids in there trying to buy Pokemon cards.
Oh.
And I'm like, see, buddy, I'm like, this sucks. And I'm like, they're probably going to buy out because they just had like, you know, like a booster box just, you know, behind the thing. I think they had 2 of them, but I'm looking at all the kids here. I'm like, these are going to sell out so quick. So I was like, we'll just buy like 2 packs and, you know, get the hell out of here. And he's like, all right, Dad, that's cool, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So we bought 2 packs. First pack, and whatever. Second pack, Charizard V-Star Secret
Dude,
Rare.
Unreal.
The rainbow one.
It's like probably
the
like a $400, $500 card.
Oh, damn.
The rainbow Charizard V-Star Secret Rare. And we just bought 2 packs and got the hell out of there.
And like for reference, I've opened almost 100 packs and haven't gotten like an extreme hit. Like
Yeah.
some card maybe $5 at most.
Yeah.
Like that pull rate is insane. Like maybe 1 out of 250, 1 out of 500, maybe 1 out of 1,000 for a specific card. Too.
Yeah.
Like that's insane.
And that's the only card that we wanted was the rainbow Charizard.
2 cards
and
done.
we got it.
Takes
like
$10
packs.
total. Most people
Yeah.
are like spending thousands of dollars
Yeah.
hunting for that card specifically. Like,
Dude, we actually have a video. Go watch it on this channel. It's Pokemon Celebrations opening. We opened Pokemon Celebrations card right here where we're sitting when they came out, and this kid pulled like 3 Shadowless Charizards.
I'm gonna buy some packs and we gotta do that.
Bro, I'm dead serious. Like if you like,
Brendan, we're gonna use you for your luck.
yo, he's the
Anything
man.
you pull though, I want some of.
He's the man. But so, you know, getting off track, I sat my family down and we watched that episode, and fucking Brendan was like so excited because you were on TV and he knows you. And it's almost like, you know, when you're a kid and you see someone you know on TV, you get like really like starstruck by it, kind of like.
Well, also
like
it also like makes it more real too. Like
Yeah.
it makes it more obtainable, right? Like
Yeah.
somebody I know like is on TV, like that
Yeah.
can happen. Like that's
Yeah, and like he always talks about something. He's like, Dad, remember when Matt was on TV? I'm like, hell yeah, I do. I'm like, we could watch it on YouTube, and he's always like, oh yeah, I forgot. But like he brings it up every now and then. It's just cool, like because it's not only me that had the experience of you being on TV. Also, my kid that also knows you is like, oh yeah, remember when Matt was like? It's not me bringing it up, like forcing it on my kid. Like, oh yeah, you want to watch Matt on TV? Let's watch it. You know, I'm not forcing him to even watch it. He was like, yeah, Dad, remember when Matt was on TV?
Yeah.
And I just think that's cool because whatever. But so, as far as like the dominoes go, you have 2 world records. You've been on a TV for it. Like, how was your whole like TV experience?
it was surreal. Honestly,
Like, would you go back on TV?
Originally, I would say yes. As I'm getting older, I don't know. I want to go back on TV for Survivor, honestly, which is
That would be sick.
Oh man,
I'm a big Survivor fan.
Survivor. All right, so let me ask you this. So I like the old school Survivor.
Yeah, me too. I think it's getting ridiculous and out
Yeah,
of hand.
it's too many things. Too many things going on.
You're adding too much luck to it. Make it more of a game.
Yeah, because I remember back in the day when Survivor first happened, like they were really starving them.
Yeah.
Like they were not like if you lost a challenge and you didn't eat, you're shit out of luck, man. You're gonna starve to death. But now it's kind of like okay, almost pussifying Survivor. You would say.
They almost have to. I feel like they have to due to like the changing conditions of TV and like the way that they handle it. Or I mean, they change the dates of how long they're there as well, and like providing them with more food. It's just becoming like way more political, which I guess is more of a mind game. But like it used to be more physical, like where you really have to survive out there in the land, which is why like I love the ages of Rupert where he was out there fishing, like doing all the work.
Yeah,
and
Rupert, the guy
was
who
the man.
Rupert, or the guy who wore tie-dye shirt or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember him. He was fucking sick. He won $1 million being the fan favorite, right?
Yep.
That's sick.
He went on multiple seasons because he was so popular.
Oh yeah,
Like,
he was awesome.
Yeah.
What about Naked and Afraid? Would you ever go on
No
that?
way. I can't deal with bugs, dude.
Dude, there's a guy from Clifton Springs that was on Naked and Afraid.
Wow.
And he was in my grade at school.
There's a guy right now that is going on Jeopardy. He was on like a 3-day win streak or something.
Really?
Yeah.
From here?
Yeah, he went to school in Henrietta, and then he went to school at, what's it called? What's the private school around here? It starts with an A, right?
I'm not sure.
I know DeSales, but that's not it. That's not an A. But I know DeSales, but
Anyway, and then he went to school at U of R, and he was retired now. But yeah, he was on Jeopardy recently.
Wow.
You know what's crazy though is me and my cousin and other Rochesterians were all on Domino Masters. We had like 4 people from Rochester on that show, and it didn't get like any publicity from any of the local news stations, like whatsoever.
wow.
Like 0.
That's crazy.
Do you think they knew?
I don't think they knew, and I asked if I could like reach out, and they almost like were like, no.
Wow. Damn, too bad this didn't exist. We could have blew it up for him.
Yeah, no, really.
I could talk about-
We could have put it out there. You would have had a podcast to go promote it,
Right.
you know?
We even made a podcast after the fact too, like not,
Really?
not
Oh, okay.
me personally, but another team, and
Yeah.
So
Dang. So you've been on a podcast before?
yeah,
Okay, cool. I didn't know if you coming in, this was your first one ever or whatever.
not
or
as
so.
official as this. This is legit.
All right.
Yo, right. All right. I
Good
like
to hear. Good to
that.
hear.
I like
Come in,
that.
sir.
You guys
Legit.
can't see it, but
School
you
of
got
Martians,
like,
baby.
light, camera, tripod, camera. Like it's legit.
Yeah. School of Martians, baby.
Yeah.
But
Okay, I got to ask one question.
Yeah.
So with being on TV and stuff like that, how is the pay? Or you can't talk about it?
I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Oh man. All right. So
were you paid well or underpaid?
Yeah, paid well or
Not paid well. If you go hour wise, like no.
If you break it all down.
Yeah.
So earlier when you said you had 16 hours of building, Was that like 16 hours straight, like building, no breaks, no anything? Like you did 16 hours of filming the show?
See, I don't even know if I'm allowed to talk about that even.
All right, my bad. Well,
No, but like,
I just remember
okay.
you said that, so it was in the back of my mind. Like, wait, 16 hours of what?
Okay, so did you sign an NDA with Fox?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind. We probably can't talk about that.
Yeah, we won't talk about it, but it's cool that we have to say shit like that right now. Like, oh, we can't talk about that.
Yeah, it's like
that's cool.
secretly.
I mean,
Yeah, it's
like,
we're at
Well, I
area-
don't know why they would have him sign an
pursue it
NDA.
after it's already done and everything, but they don't want people to know like the secret of the craft per se. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure. I
think I've already said too much, which is I'm
I
already
just didn't-
anxious about it, to be honest.
I just didn't know when you said 16 hours straight if you were like, doing like builds for
That
16
wasn't
hours.
I
or
mean,
you
we
were
were
filming for
working
16
hours straight. Some like on
Oh.
film days, some days, and sleeping. We were not getting much at all.
Yeah.
like at all. Like I'm talking like done filming at midnight or beyond sometimes, and then like you got to be up for set, ready to go at 5:30 or 6. And then get hair and makeup and all that stuff and like trailers and
Oh, you
and
didn't
then
put makeup
the one
on?
thing that I don't even know if I'm just blabbing out here. If we you had to go to the bathroom, like that would count against your time. You had to go get off set, go to
What?
the bathroom, and then haul back. So like you learn to either not drink coffee, which I need coffee in the morning. I'm not
Oh,
a
yeah.
morning person.
Yeah.
Or like got really good holding,
Yeah.
because otherwise you're not getting as much dominoes down. And like I wanted to win the big money.
Yeah.
Also, I'm just a super competitive person. So
Oh,
like,
yeah, for
I just
sure.
wanted to win.
For sure. Yeah.
There's
Wow,
so
that's
much
wild.
stories I have behind the scenes that like I definitely can say that just didn't make the cut. Like first episode, I was so hyped from our build and like everything went great. So I did a backflip off the stage and that didn't make the cut and I was pretty bummed. I was like,
Damn.
come on. And like
Dude, I like watched those episodes and I was like amazed. First of all, I've never seen like dominoes built like that before. You know what I mean? Second of all, I'm like watching the whole thing go through and I'm like, how the did you guys do that? Like just the design, the colors, the way that everything makes sense. Like it's like just straight up science.
yeah.
Like it's like it's
planning.
physics.
You gotta
it's
think
physics.
about it.
It's
Everything
so much.
we
It
thought about
has
it
to.
all to a T.
Dude, it's crazy.
But the one thing I will say about that is our team in particular. So the way it was cut made it seem as if like there weren't stops in some teams' builds, but
Yeah.
our team had perfect topples all the way until we were eliminated.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. And the other teams like they would have stops and like cut it to make it like look like it was continuous, but or like sometimes they'd actually keep it for dramatic effect.
Yeah.
I'm leaking too much already.
No, dude, it's fine.
We'll talk about
It's
this.
cool.
on
Yeah,
another
for
episode,
sure.
though.
We'll talk about.
I know we're getting short here on time, but dude, I just appreciate you coming down and talking, man. Especially because I wanted you to come on as soon as I started this whole thing. I was like, who could I have down here to hang out and talk? I'm like, Matt's got to come down here. He's done some cool shit. Plus, I know you and Bogart would get along great with the whole skiing thing.
Hell yeah.
And it's just been an episode that we want to do and I've been telling him, I'm like, all day today, I've been telling him, like, dude, I can't wait to fucking do this episode with Matt. It's going to be cool.
I can't wait till next episode.
But I want to do it more for him because I know that he likes.
I can geek out
what
for
he
fucking
likes.
hours.
Yeah,
Oh, dude,
he likes what
me
he
too.
likes, and like you guys have that in common. So I'm like, man, this will be cool just to like throw this together because like I know you guys haven't met yet, but you guys just have so much, and you guys know what you're talking about. That's what I'm just like. I'm loving just like seeing this back and forth the whole time. It's just good shit, man.
What's your favorite grab?
You know what? To tell you the truth, because I didn't do much of jumping. I did more rails and shit. But a good mute grab. It's underrated.
mute.
It's underrated,
Yeah.
but it is so sick. There is this one scene with Tom Wallish, right? He does this huge, just like corked out mute grab, fucking superb. Because like I love fucking just simple grabs that we did back in the day.
For
Like
the fans, a mute grab is like
Oh,
you
oh.
have both your feet like this. You like cross them and you grab like the tops.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's
grab
that
like
I
this and, like,
love.
cross 'em. So your skis are like crossed like an X while you're spinning. It looks so cool.
Yeah. So I mean, I definitely love the mute grab. Japan, that's another
Japan's
one.
sick. I like blunt a lot too. It's really
Blunt.
tough though. That's
Yeah.
where you cross your skis, but you're grabbing the back.
Yep. Yep.
So that looks really cool with a cork, which that's my dream trick is to learn a cork, and I have yet to push myself to
Can
do
you
that.
do
I've done a Misty 5 and a Misty 7.
Damn.
And then best rail trick I've done is like a back 630 out and like double swaps and like K feds and like super feds. Like I'm good at spinning and like rail control I love. It's just I got to get better at like hitting stuff switch more comfortably. I used to be able to do like switch 2 on and all that, and like 2 pretzel 2 is a cool one that I just got recently, but I got to get more consistently. But shout out like some of the local skiers that I ski with. Like I always think of these guys as like the goats as of recent. Like Johnny Del Forte is a beast. Ethan Gardner, who recently moved, like
I know Ethan.
dude's a beast. Also a sick steezy skateboarder. His style is just
nasty.
like unreal,
He's
bro.
nasty
Both of
at
those guys
skating.
just have the sickest
Wait,
style.
where did Ethan move to?
I think he's in
moved away?
Vermont now, actually.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Dude, he's a talented dude.
And then new young guys, I've been skiing with Sam Mandola a bunch. He has sick style. Obviously, I mentioned Jed earlier. He's insane. And then Trevor Collington, he's really good as well. And his brother is Connor Collington, also super sick. So those guys are dope.
Hell yeah. Shout out to all them dudes.
Yeah, shout out to the whole crew that skis at Bristol, right? Did they ski
variable.
At Bristol? Yeah, variable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all about Bristol, but
Yeah,
that's where it's local.
Yeah. I mean, hey, we work with what we got, right?
Yeah.
That's where success comes from. You work with what you got.
Yep. We make community out of it.
I mean,
either way.
look at my recording studio and like look at the shit we fucking pump out of there.
Legit.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that legit. I mean, I think it's like a shitty setup in my eyes.
Nah, I like it, bro.
But I make it work. Like I know how to edit, you know? I know how to produce. That's like half the battle. Just like learning what you got and using it, you know? I don't know.
No. I'm just like, how much money can I get sued for if I fucked over this NDA?
You're
First
good.
of all, I have a good lawyer. His name is called Saul Goodman. So
Saul Goodman. I know that guy. I've
Saul
seen
good,
few
man.
episodes of those.
yeah, you know. But you know
he's
what?
He's not a criminal lawyer. He's a criminal lawyer.
He commits crimes to be a lawyer, right? I don't even know how that.
Yo,
He's shady.
Saul's the GOAT. Breaking Bad is the GOAT of all shit. But we're going to get out of here, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for viewing in. If you're at the end of this right now, I know you're a true fan or you're here to see Matt talk. And this was a great episode. I'm glad it happened. Merch link in description. Go cop it now. School of Martians.
Aliens.
20% off till the end of the year. Hurry up. There's like 3 weeks left, 2.5 weeks left of this until the first of the year. Go cop your
Holidays.
merch. 20% off. Use code SCHOOL, SCHOOL, for your code. It comes up right when you go to checkout. Type that in, get the 20% off. And if you DM me after you place an order, I might send you a limited edition item that me and Bogart are working on right now.
Yo.
So if you order, I might, use the address you put in there, and something might pop up in your mailbox.
Don't be a fool. Use the code SCHOOL.
Use the code SCHOOL. Don't be a fool.
Yeah, that's
it
a
right
good
there.
one.
That's it right
Don't be a
there, yo.
fool.
Quick
Don't
with
be
it.
a
This is
fool.
why I was on live TV.
Yeah,
It was a long process in order to get on TV, may I say.
Yeah?
We'll have to go into that in the next episode.
Did you have to
but-
try out?
Oh, it was like months.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, man, don't be a fool. Use code SCHOOL. You heard it from Matt VanVleck, the domino master, the Guinness World Record holder, the freaking
crazy.
the man of the hour. And you saw it in School of Martians right here, Bogart.
Shout out all my domino friends.
Shout out everyone that's on skis, on skates, on bikes, anyone that does extreme sports. Shout out, because we fuck with them people. And Nominee Clothing, if you go to the page, it says it's an extreme sport brand. So if you're an extreme sport enthusiasts, go cop some Nominee merch. Support, man. We're all about extreme sports. So, Bogart, I'm peacing out, though. I think.
Yo.
You know the slogan. Some way, somehow, someday. Peace. Peace.
Fuck you!